Yes, in the last session, we have seen how to create a project and hope all of you have created a project and deployed into your AIM instance. Okay. So right now in this session, we'll discuss about the concept of components. So what does it mean by the components and what does a component do actually to a web page? Right now, we have created a project, right? So any project, weekend sites is one project we have created in the last session. Okay. So if I open this project, so we have some components here. So maybe title and then teaser and then hello world component. So these are some of the components which have been came when you have created when you have created a project using Maven archetype. So in archetype command you have created, right? So with the help of that archetype command, so these are some components which Maven has been given or which AEM archetype has been given to you demo. So some of these components might be extending the core components which are available in Adobe, and some of them might be and useful which are created directly here like hello world component which is being created specifically for this project without extending any properties. So in order to create these components, so how we can create these components? So basically components are the basic building blocks of a page in AEM. So if you want to display anything, so here we have a navigation. So we can search project EN. So right now if I want to go to this page or if I want to hit this search bar or if I'm seeing the components here, so any kind of content on a web page in AEM is referred with the help of components. So if I want to display an image, so I want to have a component. If I want to display a text, I want to have an component. So with the help of the component only, we are able to build the pages in AEM. So content inside the pages in AEM, we can build that with the help of the components. So how to create these components? So basically we have two ways to create the components and two types of components also we can create. So in this session, we'll discuss one type of component and how to create. So why we are going for the components instead of directly displaying the HTML is we can render the dynamic content inside them. So if I want to insert any image on the web page itself without going to the code base, so we can directly insert an image. Suppose if I want to change this title, if I want to change the teaser, okay, so at that case, what we have to do is at that case we have an authoring dialog inside a component, and with the help of that authoring dialog, we can insert some dynamic content to the component. So without the authoring dialog, we cannot insert an component. So to create a component as well, we have two ways. So if I go to the CRXT, go to the CRXT and open your project. So any project you are having, and inside that we have one folder called components is the folder we are having. So go inside this components folder, and inside this components folder, we are having multiple number of components predefined which have been come to the Adobe. So if I want to create a new component, so at that case you can just come to this components folder and right click on it and create a node. So we have two ways to create a component. So one we can create using a node, and second one by using an component. So here we have a direct option, and here we have an individual nodes option we have to create. So we can go for anyone. So create a node works and create a component also works. But when you go for AM as a cloud service, we don't have this option create a component. So you have to create a node itself. So with the help of nodes only, you have to create a component. So right now I want to create one component. So some custom component I want to create because I want to display some image and then title and then description is something I have to display. So in that case, you can just go to the components folder and then right click on it and create a new component. So you can just click on create a component or you can click on create a node. So now we'll see how to create that with the help of nodes. Go to the CRXT, right click on it, create a node. Okay, so you can give any name to this node, so you can give any name to the node, but the primary type of the component is CQ colon component. So we have different types of nodes we can create, right? So inside the CRXT we can create different types of nodes. So it can be a CQ colon page, it can be a CQ colon page content, it can be a tag colon asset. So different types of content we can create inside different types of nodes we can create inside the CRXT. Okay, when you are creating a component, the primary type of the primary node type of the component should be CQ colon component. So this is one mandatory thing. So if you are creating any type of component, so anything, so the primary node type of the component is CQ colon component. So when you are giving this CQ colon component, whatever the node we have created, so it will be considered as an component. The primary type should be CQ colon component and name can be anything. So it can be an demo is one name I am giving to the component. So name is demo, and then type of the node is CQ colon component, and then click on OK, and then save the changes. So every time you are making any changes in the CRXD, every time you have to save the changes. So without saving the changes, you can't do that. Okay, so save the changes. If you are trying to save multiple changes at the same time, so it will throw an error. So for every change you are making, you have to save those changes. So now we have created a node. So and the primary type of node is CQ colon component. So now the second step is every time whenever you have created a component, when you are creating a custom component, so we have to create one mandatory file called the HTML file or the JSP file. So when it comes to AEM, we can implement the component in two ways. So creation of component two ways and implementation of the component is also we are having two ways. Okay. So consider if I'm going here. So right now in the AEM, we can create a component using two ways. Create a node and create a component direct option we are having. So after that we can create. So after whenever you have created a node, so immediately one mandatory child node you have to create, which is nothing but a .html file or a .jsp file. So by using two ways, we can implement the component by using a .html file or by using the .jsp file. So both works in AEM. So if you want to create a .jsp, so Java server pages. So if you are having a knowledge on JSP, so at that case you can implement the logic inside the JSP. So if you don't have a knowledge on JSP, you can implement the component using the .html. So both are used to display the content inside the file, and then you can write the content inside the dynamic authoring dialog. Okay, so we can go for the .html file or else we can go for the .jsp file as well. It is recommended to go to the .html file after AEM 6.0 version, because if you are going for the .html file, so to avoid the confusion, AEM has introduced one more language called HTL. So if you want to prominently use this HTL, so from there onwards they have it is mostly recommended to use the .html extension in order to display any kind of content with this component. So .html is the recommended way you want to go. Okay, so now for this demo component, we have to create this mandatory child node, which is nothing but .html file or .jsp file you have to create. So right click on it and then create a file. Okay, and then after that always the node name and the file name should be same, because when you are drag and drop in the component on the page, so if you want to get that content on displayed on the web page, so at that case it should know, right? So this is the mandate, this is the parallel child node we are having to this component. So at that case what we need to have is, so the node name and the HTML file name should be same. So here what is the node name? Demo is the node name, so the file name should be demo.html. If I'm writing hello world, hello world.html or any name with the .html extension we have to provide, and then save the changes. So now it says demo.html. So whatever the content I want to display, simply I can write the content inside this .html file. Suppose I want to display some heading. Okay, so I'll display one heading. So h1. Okay, so this is one title I'm going here, and then I'm displaying some title. So if I want to display some title, I can go for heading tag in the HTML, right? So you create an heading tag here, and then you can display the text. And after that, if you want to display any description, the same thing, you can go for a paragraph tag, and inside the paragraph tag you can specify the description of that particular heading. Okay, so if I want to display an image, I can go for the image tag. So image source is equals to, and then inside the source tag you have to display the image. So every time when you are creating a project, so you'll get one demo image which is available on the content folder. So all the digital assets whatever you are having for this project, so all the digital assets will be stored inside this content board. So content dam, so digital asset management, and try to check your project folder. So weekend is your project folder, and then asset.jpg is one image we are having. Okay, so all the digital assets, when you are trying to upload an asset inside the AEM console, so all your assets will be storing inside this DAM folder. Okay, so content DAM and under your project, the folders will be stored. So asset.jpg is one image we are having. So you can just copy this path of the image and you can specify inside this source tag. And after that, if you are having any alternate text, you can specify the alternate text as well. Image is one image is one simple text I am specifying. Okay, so now we have created a component and we have created the content inside the .html file as well. So this is a mandatory step, so it is not an individual step. Every time you create a node, so automatically you have to create the .html file as well, you have to create. So right now we have created the component and we have created the content inside the component as well. Okay, so if I want to get this component on the page, you can go to the en page, and inside the en page we have something called as a container component. Okay, so it is called as a container component, or previously it is called as an parses component. So with the help of this parses component or container component, we can insert new components to the page. Okay, so not only new components, if I want to insert any components onto the page, so at that case with the help of this container component we can do that. So go to this container component and then click on insert component option and search for your component. So what is the node name of the component? Demo is the node name of the component, but when I search for demo here, so it does not give any component node, so which is available here. So at that case we have to find few more things. Okay, so now we have created a demo component. Okay, so and then we have created a .html file. So after creating the .html file as well, it is not available on the page. So these are some more properties we have to give when you have created a component. Okay, so the name which you have given here, it is a node name. Okay, but if you want to identify your component on the page, so here we have to give one more property which is called as a JCR title. So with the help of the JCR title, we can find out the component on a page. So JCR colon title. So when you give JCR colon title, you can give anything. So I'll give as demo component. So the JCR title of the component is demo component. And then click on add. So every time once you create a node, so this is also one mandatory property we have to insert. So just select on the component node and then you can see the property editor tab, and then inside that with the help of the name you can specify the property and then what type of value you want to insert. So the value is string, right? So I want to insert a string, so at that time I have to select the type as an string, and then value will be whatever the value you want to insert, so that value will be specifying here. So now I have given the JCR title to the component. Okay. Okay, I have given the JCR title to the component, and here we have an option of add. Once you click on add, the property will be added to the properties tab. So JCR colon title. And here we have to give one more property which is nothing but component group. So component group. So component group is also one property we have to give to the component. So why we need to give this component group is, consider you are having multiple components. You'll not be creating one or two components. You'll be creating we'll be creating number of components. So if you want to manage similar components together in a single page, suppose for the teasers I have five types of components. So five versions of components we are having. So if you want to manage all these teaser components in one place, so at that time with the help of the component group we can give that. So every component should have these two properties. One is JCR title and second one is component group. So JCR title we have given and component group also we have given. And then I'll give the component group as weekend is my project name, right? So we can custom components. So we can custom components is one group we have created, and click on add. So right now, whatever the demo component we have created, so that demo component belongs to this weekend component group. Okay, so weekend custom components group, this demo component belongs to. And then again, so go to the en page and try to refresh and try to insert the component again. So I come here and then drag and drop the components, click on plus and search for your component. So what is the JCR title? Every time you are searching for the component on the page, you have to search with the help of JCR title. So JCR title gives us the permission to search for the component on the page. So search for demo component. Okay, so this demo component is also still not available. So we have created the .html file. We have added the required properties, JCR title and component group. But still, the component is not available to insert on the page. So right now, every time when you want to insert the component on the page, we have to check whether the component is permitted or not. So do you have the permission to insert the component on the page or not? Okay, so to insert the component on the page, on the how can I give the permission? Okay, so here we have something called as a page information. Okay, so inside this page information tab, so click on this page information tab and go to the option of edit template. So here we have an option of edit template. So go inside this edit template option, and inside the edit template option we have called as a container component we are having. Okay, so inside this container component, so initial content not, so right now go to the structured content. Okay, so if it is in the initial content, so change the node from initial content to structure. Okay, so go to the structure node, and inside the structure node we have the container component here. So inside this container component we have something called as a policy. So go inside this policy and search for your component. So just search for your component group or your component. So what is we can component is the one we have given. So we can hyphen components is the one we have given. But we can cite project is there. We can cite project form is there. We can cite project structure is there. But whatever the custom group we have created, so this custom group is not available. So we can cite custom components group is not available. So when you are creating a group, so for the first time if you are creating the group, so for the first component, we have to create in the correctly. So then only it will be displayed. Okay, so we have given these properties, JCR title, component group, and then .html file we have given. And we are trying to give the permission to the component, but this permission is not available. Okay, so the component itself is not available. So search for your component. So demo component, so demo component itself not available in this particular folder where we have to give the permission. Okay. So every time when you are creating a component, so apart from the .html file, we have to give one more mandatory child node called as a dialog or authoring tile, or we have to give the CQ colon dialog or CQ colon edit config or CQ colon design dialog. So any of these three mandatory child nodes, you have to create that with the help of the component. So without these mandatory child nodes, without any of these mandatory child nodes, you can't find out or you can't insert the component to the page. So you have to give this mandatory child node, either CQ colon dialog or CQ colon design dialog or CQ colon edit config. So these are the mandatory child nodes we have to give. So right now we'll try to give the dialog as the child node. So go to the hello world component and we'll try to create the dialog. So we'll learn how to create from the scratch. So before creating the scratch, we'll try to use this dialog. So inside the hello world component, we have the dialog. So go to the hello world component and try to copy this dialog. So once you have copied this dialog, go to the demo component, the custom component which you have created, and inside this custom component, try to insert. Right click on it and then paste the node which you have copied. So dialog is the node I have copied and paste the dialog node. So now the dialog node is also available here. So CQ colon dialog is one mandatory change node you have to create with the component. So now that the CQ colon dialog, either we can create CQ colon edit config or CQ colon design dialog also one node we can create. So CQ colon dialog, CQ colon design dialog, or CQ colon edit config. So these three mandatory child nodes we can create with the help of we have to create with the component. So once you have created this dialog, now go to the content page. So nothing but edit template option, and now try to give the permission again. So refresh this page once, and once you have refreshed, go to the container component, and we are having the policy node. So go inside this policy node and then try to search for your component. So demo component, right? So demo component. So whatever the component group we have created, so now it is available here. So go inside this component group and give the permission to this demo component. Okay. So once you have given the permission, just click on OK and then save the changes. So once you click on OK, the changes will be saved. Now try to come to the EN page, refresh this EN page and insert the component. So go to the drag and drop component option, and inside this drag and drop component option, so search for your component. So now it is available here, and then try to insert the component. So this is the title we have given, and then description, and then we are giving the image as well we are giving. Okay, so just remember this one. So these are the few points we have to remember when you are creating a component. So the node type should be CQ colon component. And once you have created a node, we have to create one mandatory file, which is a .html file or a .jsp file. And then we have to create one more mandatory child node, which is CQ colon dialog is one mandatory child node we have created. And after that, we have to add two more properties to the component node, which is JCR colon title, which helps to identify the component on the page. And second one is component group. So to assign the component to an particular to store all your related components together. So at that time we have to give this one more property, which is component group is one property we have to give. Okay, so these are the mandatory steps we have to follow when you want to create a component. And then after creating a component, if the component is not available to display on the page, at that time I have to check whether the component is permitted or not. So in order to check whether the component is permitted or not, so here we are having page information, and inside this page information tab, go to edit template, and inside the edit template option, we have to go to the container. Okay, so if this container automatically not available, so just check on which type of node you are there. So we are in the structure node. Okay, so similarly, you'll have initial content and layout. Okay, so if you are in any type of node, so just try to transform to the structure, and you can see a container here. So inside this container, try to give the permission to your component. So here, go to the policy of that container. Inside the policy of the container, you have to give the permission. So once you given to this container policy, so now with the help of the whatever the container you have given the policy, so with the help of that container, you can insert the content on the page. So you can display the text, description, and then image also we can display. But whatever the thing we have displayed now, it is very static. Okay, if I go there, we open the dialog. Okay, so dialog is one child node we have added, right? So this is the structure of the dialog. So if I'm trying to add the content here, it is not changing on the page, right? Because we have displayed the content statically. Okay, we haven't displayed the content dynamically. We have displayed the content statically inside this demo.html file. So if I want to display the content dynamically, so with the help of the authoring dialog, we are having the permission. So if I don't have this authoring dialog, then you will not see this interface to insert the text or to insert the property, or you can't see this interface at all. Okay, so right now we are having the interface, but whatever the text I have entered here, so this text is not going for the, it is not replacing the title. Okay, I want to replace this text with the title. It is not replacing the title. So then how can I replace this with the title? Okay, so with Adobe has provided HTL, right? So HTL is nothing but the expression language. So with the help of the expression language, we can insert the dynamic content inside the component. Okay, so how can I write this expression language? So dollar curly braces. So dollar curly braces is the expression language we are having. So with the help of this expression language, we can insert the content inside the component. So dollar and curly braces. Okay. So dollar and curly braces. So right now, if I go open the dialog, so inside the text field, this content is storing, right? So this is a custom text component created by admin user. So this is some text we are having, which is storing inside this text in this text platform it is storing, or in the text insertion component it is storing. Okay, so we have to check on which node it is storing the data. So go to the crxt and then try to open the text node. So where the text node is available, try to open that node. So CQ colon dialog, content, items, column, items, and text is the node we are having. So inside this text node, we are having one thing called as a name. Name is one field we are having. So if you know HTML forms, so how to store the data? So it will store the data in the name, right? So whatever the name we have given, in the name, the data will store. The same property here. So whatever the data that we are entering inside this text node or inside this text node, so that data will be stored on this name variable. Okay, it will create one property, and inside this property it will store the data. So inside this name variable we have something, it is storing in the form of text, it is storing. Okay, so just try to copy this text, and then I want to replace with the title. Okay, so to replace with the title, so just backspace and then call the htl dollar curly braces, and properties is one object we are having. So properties dot text. So when I'm specifying properties is one global object which is given by the HTL. Okay, so if you want to call the data from the dialog, So at that case, we have to give this property, that is, we have to mention properties. Okay. So if you want to get the data from this dialog, okay. So if you want to read this text, so then you have to specify properties dot text. Okay. So when you are specifying properties dot text, so at that case, it will read the data from the dialog and then it will display immediately on the page. So save the changes and try to refresh it. Okay, so once you refresh, if you observe here, so this is a text component created by the admin user. Suppose if I want to display the previous text only, I can change it from the dialog only. So in the dialog, so I can change the text. So not only instead of going for the component and going to the crxt and going to the .html and changing the content there, you can dynamically insert the content in the page itself with the help of this CQ colon dialog, or we call them as an authoring dialog. So whatever the data that stores inside this particular container or particular component, so you can call that data on the page with the help of properties. So properties is one global object you are having. So properties dot name variable, name property you have to call, because inside this name property only it will store the data. So name dot text. Suppose if it is their name dot image, you have to call the name dot properties dot image. Okay. So maybe right now we are inserting the text. Okay. I want to insert the so we can also insert this description dynamically, as well as we can also insert the image also dynamically. We can also insert. So at that case, I'll try to create a few more notes to this one. So for the text, I'll be creating the text for the heading. I've created the text node. So similarly, to insert the description and to insert the image, I'll try to create few more notes. Okay. So just copy paste this text node, copy the text node and go to items and paste it. Okay, so change it from copy of text to description. So we want to we want the description, right? So change it from description. Okay, so I'll name it as description. And then after naming as description, so check the properties of this one and then refresh one. Okay, so description, and you can see the field label is text only. So instead of text, I want to get that as description. So I'll give as description. Okay, so instead of text, give it as description, and then already the text is storing inside the text, right? Okay, so the text is storing in the form of text. If I want to store the description, you can't name it as text. You have to change this form. So this should be a unique value. It should not be an specific value which is related to all the fields. This should be unique. So instead of text, I'll specify as an description. DBS description I'll specify. Okay, so once I specified the description, so now I can insert the description dynamically. So after creating the node, what we have to change inside the .html file, we have to change this particular one from a static text to call the dynamic text we have to specify. So how can I call the dynamic text here? How can I call? We have to use the expression language, right? So dollar curly braces and properties is one object we are having. So properties dot description. So it will call the description dynamically. So now go to the EN page and try to check the so now I'm able to get the description as well. So instead of description, I'll name it as a description. If I click on OK, it has changed it from the text to description. Or if I want to display the any other text here, so just try to paste the same text again. So that text also we can dynamically place here. So we are getting the title and description. So we can also get the image as well dynamically. So try to create the same node again. So you have copy pasted the text, right? So just again try to copy the text, and then for the image we'll try to display and then paste again. So what I have to change? So I want to display for image. Whatever the properties I want to change here. So change the node name from copy of text to image. And then we have to change some properties. So first one is name we have to change because the data will be stored inside this name variable. So change it from text to image, so that the data, whatever the data that is entering inside the dialog, so that data will store inside this image. And second thing we have to change is field label, because content authors will author. Okay, so whatever the dialogue you see here, so content authors will author this dialogue. So when it comes here, so if they see a text here, they will insert a text. But here we have to specify, they have to insert an image. So here we are specifying description, here we are specifying text. So when it comes to here, we have to specify, you have to display an image here. So in this case, you have to display an image. So at that case, we have to come here and then so change the field label from text to image. Okay. So now we have changed the field label from text to image. So whatever the data that is storing inside this name variable, so how could I call this how could I call this data dynamically? Expression language we have to go, right? So cur, dollar curly braces properties dot how the data is storing, image is the date, right? So imag, so image, it will display the image. Okay, if I want to get this alternate text as well dynamically, you can also get the alternate text also dynamically. So what I'll do is I'll call the title here. So in order to call the title, dollar curly braces properties dot text. Okay, so in the text it is storing the data. So dollar curly braces properties dot text. So simply copy and then in the alt attribute. So try to paste this properties dot text. So now try to reload the page. If you are making any changes in the HTML, so at that case you have to reload the page first. So now it is not displaying the image. Why? Because so image it is trying to read from this image node which is empty. Okay. So right now we have to specify from where it should read the image. So it can be an internal HTML link or it can be an internal CRXD path, or you can also get from the browser. So you can also display that image as well. So it can also display the image from the browser. So we want to, so weekend is my project and then asset.apj is the image we are having. So if you observe here, if you can observe the alternate text, what is the title we have given? So that title only we are coming here because we have called the dynamic data. If I change the title, so then image description also will change. Image alternate text also will be changed. So right now try to insert the image. So maybe space we have given or maybe a different project image we are having. So content tam weekend asset.jpg. So we'll try to change this alternate text. Okay, the alternate text also change it. So try to copy the image node. So where the image will be there inside the content tam, and then your project asset.jpg is the image. So this is the correct node on. Just copy this one and go to the en page. Open the dialog and inside the image field. So try to display the image. So content tam weekend asset.jpg. So now it is displaying the image. So this is how we can insert the dynamic content inside the component with the help of the authoring dialog. So every time you want to create you want to create a component, so these are the mandatory steps you have to follow. So create a node, create a .html file, and insert the two properties JCR title and then component group. And we have to create one either of these mandatory child nodes we have to create. So either CQ colon dialog, CQ colon design dialog, or CQ colon edit config. So any of these three mandatory child nodes you have to create, and once you have created a component, so at that case you have to give the permission to this component to display on the page. So at that case you have to go to the page information, edit template option, and then in the structure node you'll have this container. So inside this container will have one policy. So at that policy you have to allow that component. So once you have allowed that component inside the policy node, so then you can insert the component to the page. So once you have done that, so now it will display the content. So to read the dynamic content, properties is one global object we are having. So dollar curly braces properties dot text, dollar curly braces properties dot description, properties dot image, and then whatever the fields you want to insert. So you can create these fields inside the dialog, and you can call that whatever the data that is storing you want to call inside the .html file. So at that case, properties is the object we are having, and then the variable which is storing the data. So that will call the dynamic data to the component. So that is how you can create a component and you can display on the page. So instead of creating these nodes individually, either having or individually inserting the properties or individually displaying, individually writing the component group, you can directly go to the component option. So right click on it create a component. So here I can give the JCR title, I can give the component group, and then I can give the field label or the node name we can give dynamically. So if you are creating using this create component wizard, you'll directly get the file as well. So we have created the demo.html file normally, right? So you'll also get the file automatically with the help of the create component wizard. Okay, so you'll get a .jsp extension. Try to rename it from .jsp to .html extension, and you can insert the dialog and you can insert the properties, so you can display the page as well. So try to create with the help of create component option as well. Okay, so that is how you can create a component and you can display them on a page.